Hey guys, Mr. Kyle, Myers Mathematics, and let's just jump right into it. So today, I want to talk about how to know if you did well. And if this is the first video you're watching, you're probably maybe like what? What does this title mean? Well, I've been doing a series on test prep, and this is the last video in that series on test prep. So all the other videos, I'll put a link to the whole playlist in the description below. But basically, yesterday was what to do during the test. The day before was what to do 10 minutes before the test, aka brain dumping, that sort of thing. And now you've taken the test, you're done with the test. How do you know if you did well? Well, the first thing you should do before we answer this question is you should treat yourself. Because you just took a major test, right? Whether it's like a unit test, or usually what I'm referring to is like the SAT or the ACT. Or your final exam, which is coming up, if it hasn't been canceled. And if it has, congratulations. So treat yourself. If you've taken all your finals, right? Let's say you have finals week, take all your finals. You need to go enjoy, like you just started summer. You know, if you're, a high school student or in college or whatever, you just started your summer. Or even if you're taking college summer classes or some other summer classes, you still have a little bit, at least the weekend or so. So treat yourself. Go get some pizza, or just celebrate with a nice latte, or a smoothie, or whatever you really like to eat or drink. Go get that thing and treat yourself. That's number one. Number two is, this is like actually answering the question, but I had to say treat yourself first, because it's fun to say and because it's a reference. So number two, if you are doing a computerized multiple choice test, it gets graded automatically. Like they slide it into the thing and it just goes boop, 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 and it spits out the answer. So depending on what kind of test it is, if it's the SAT, they might wait to release your results because they can do that, but they know what the answer is like right away. So I'm not insinuating anything. I don't recommend you try to hack them or something to find out what your test is. If it's really that important to you, then you should just take a chill pill, because you're going to be fine. That's actually one of the last things that I want to talk about. But basically, if it was a computerized test, let's say you're taking a final, they take your Scantron and they run it through the system, and it goes beep 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 beep, and then it spits out the answer, so you know what the answer is. So you can ask your teacher nicely, don't berate them or anything, but be like, hey, did the thing already go in? What did I get? What did I get? Please, ma'am or sir. Yeah, and go for it. So, ask your teacher. It can't hurt. Don't, ask them over and over and over again and be annoying or anything like that. But you can definitely ask. And speaking of teachers, even if it is a paper test, sometimes teachers grade them separately from putting the grades in. So like when I was a teacher, sometimes I would go to Dunkin' Donuts and get myself a nice latte and grade all the tests, grade all the page 1s, then all the page 2s, then all the page 3s, however many pages I decided the test was for that particular unit, depending on how many topics there were, I guess. But after I'm done, I don't put in the grades right away. Sometimes I take them home with me, and then the next day before work, I'll put them in or something like that, right? And every teacher's a little different, so some teachers do it right away, some don't. But if the teacher, grades all the tests, then they're done. They know what your grade is, so you could ask them. So even if it's a paper test, the very next day, your teacher could be done grading it. Or if they're not, and you've developed a good relationship, you have good rapport with your teacher, then you could ask him or her, hey, I'm really, really worried about it because I have test anxiety, and I just really want to know, did I do well? Excuse me, I feel like I had to sneeze. I just want to know if I did well, and your teacher will tell you. There it goes. Oh, sorry. Bless me. So you can ask your teacher, did I do well? And if they didn't grade all the tests yet, maybe if they really like you, they'll just grade your test right there in front of you. You can ask them to do that. Politely, don't want to be nagging or anything about it, but be like, hey, like, I really struggle with test anxiety. And if you have the time today, if you could just grade mine and tell me what the score is and just be really, really, really sweet and polite about it, I'm sure they'll do it. And if not, no big deal. You know, they'll grade them all eventually if they have to. So yeah, that's steps 1, 2, and 3 on my notes here. The last thing on my notes is this thing called eustress. So I don't know if you've ever heard of euphoria. Like if something's euphoric, it means it like feels really good. That's the opposite of dysphoria or dysphoric, which means something that feels bad, like pain. Eustress is the opposite of distress. Distress is probably the thing that you've heard, or stress. Normally, when you say stress, you mean distress. Distress is basically being stressed about something that you can't change. And it's bad stress. Just distress is bad stress. It's probably better to be more general. Eustress is good stress. So an example of distress would be being stressed after a test. If you can't find out, if you can't know how you did well, right? So I just gave you a couple of tips on how to actually know if you did well. But if you can't know if you did well, then there's no point in being stressed about it because there's nothing you can do about it. If you've done everything you can do, if you've asked, you know, your teacher or somebody if you can find out what your test grade is and they don't, you know, it hasn't been released yet, you're just waiting to get your test back. Well, after that, there's nothing else you could do. So there's no need to worry about it. Worrying about something you can't change is completely pointless, so don't do it. However, eustress is good, and actually, the most successful people in the world try to give themselves stress. But eustress, for instance, if you give yourself a really short deadline to do something, but it's still possible as long as you really focus. Like, let's say you want to run a certain distance and you want to run it in a new best time. Well, you're not going to, like, you know, get on your running clothes and pop in your headphones and, you know, try to find your favorite track and do all, like, you're just gonna get ready. You're gonna wear your best shoes and you're gonna find out what that distance is. And you know what you're gonna do? You're just gonna have the timer or on your phone or whatever, and you're gonna time it, and you're gonna hone in, you're gonna focus and try to get that new best time. And it gives you that eustress. You're stressed because you want to do well and you have the power to do well, but you're still stressed because there's a possibility you might fail. That's eustress. You want to create and kind of invite that kind of stress. Controlled, not too much. You don't want to have too much of eustress. But try to find something. This is my challenge to you today. Try to find something that you normally get done in several hours or a whole day or a whole week. And try to get it done in 20% of that time. 1/5 of that time. Divide that time by 5. And instead, get ready. Like, get it all set up. Get the setup already done before you start the timer. Get ready. Kind of do some shoulder rolls. You know, really, really get pumped. If you're a coffee drinker, drink some coffee. If you're a juice drinker, drink some juice, like some healthy juice, like lemonade and things like that help to wake you up naturally. And time yourself. Try to do it in 20% of the time it normally takes. And you'll see eustress in action. Right? So that's it for today. How to know if you did well. You can ask the people who monitored the test, did the test, or your teacher, something like that. But in general, you don't really know until you know. So treat yourself and don't worry about things that you can't change. Right? And that's it. So if this video has been helpful, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel, Myers Mathematics. And if you have not downloaded my awesome guide, it's called The 5 Math Mistakes Everyone Makes and How to Avoid Them. A little lengthy, but I don't know. I felt like it had a nice ring to it. The guide is to help you to not make a math mistake. It's showing you what the 5 math mistakes are. I've got it narrowed down to 5 things. And it's super helpful. And it's free. So even if you don't like it, even if it doesn't help you for some weird reason, then no harm, no foul. So you should check it out. It's at myersmathematics.com, and I will see you in another episode.